Hello, my name is Donald Tombia, and I'm a filmmaker. And this is how I make my daily 2K. How would you describe your line of work? How would I describe my line of work? I make films. I'm I'm an integral part of the regular filmmaking or TV series making process. I'm integral part of Slum King. I was the head writer for Slum King, co-creator, and then head writer for Slum King. I was co-writer for Shanty Town. You can find Slum King on Showmax, by the way. Shanty Town, Netflix. I was the writer for introducing the Kujus, which won me the EMVCA for Best Writer. Whoop, whoop. Also one of the writers of the very popular series on YouTube, The Wives. Head writer of the African Magic telenovela Masquerades of Anido. Creator of the African Magic telenovela Dust. What else have I done? Quite interesting. Oh yeah, I wrote the award-winning film Strain, and a host of stuff. So if you Google my name, Donald Tombia, you'll see quite a bit because I don't particularly have my entire CV up in my head. Right. Did you study writing formally, or is this something you picked up along the way? I think that question, did I study writing formally, is something I picked up along the way, it doesn't give me a lot of room to answer. So I'll rephrase it for myself. One, yes, I did not study what I'm currently doing as screenwriting formally, but the whole gamut of writing and storytelling, I've had some formal training, and there's a part of it that is inbuilt, that is natural. When I was really young, my mom one time was called into school by one of my teachers. We just come back from school, and if you grew up in the 90s, we had a thing where the first essay you write is how I spent my holidays. So my mom comes into school because teacher has called her in, and when that happens, it means yawa don gas, your child has done something and has been sent to the principal's office. So my mom had this type of trepidation. I was concerned, why are they calling my mom to school? So she sits down with the teacher, and the teacher shows her my essay. And my mom reads my essay and looks at the teacher, and the teacher says, "Is it true? Is it true? Is what I wrote, is it all true?" Because what I had written was so dramatic, so vivid, that the teacher was concerned that if these things were true, that these things were happening in my house, then I was in danger. Then probably if we were living someplace else, you would have to call child services. But the things I'd written down, the dramatic things I'd written about the neighbors, about the fights, about, the squabbles, were things I would hear. Where we lived at the time, it was a very poor apartment, so we call it face me, I face you. So I could hear my neighbors argue, right? So when they get to argue, my brain just gets to pick up their drama, and I make things up, things they said, things they did not say, and I put all these things together into the essay. So in that sense, it was inbuilt. So before I learned the rules of writing, I learned how to tell a story, right? I learned how to cause the story to flow. If I knew what idioms or similes were, I just knew how to put words together. So there is an innate ability there. But when I knew I was coming into this industry, I decided to take some sort of training. So I did some courses, went through some virtual schools. So to the question, did I study writing formally, or is it something I picked up along the way? Uh, my answer is a bit broader than what the question has limited me to. So, yeah, that's it. It's a bit of both. Do you think writing has been more financially rewarding than the career path you originally studied for? No, it hasn't been. It has the potential to be. Maybe not writing, but filmmaking has the potential to be more financially rewarding than what I studied for. But I have to tell you what I studied for you to be able to understand. I studied forensic computing, right? Cryptography was my bread and butter. I was considered the James Bond on computers because hacking was a thing that I used to do. I worked as the manager, the head of enterprise security for a company, Tiger Logic, and I used to sell security and technology products high level to enterprises like banks, oil services company, and the likes. It was ridiculously financially rewarding. Had huge potential. I've been in this industry I came in 2019, so this is what, 6 years? Is it? Yeah, 6 years. 6 years, and writing has been very, very rewarding. I've gotten my first job was 30,000 naira, and my biggest job, which was earlier this year, was not even in naira, right? So very, very financially rewarding. But when you compare on, especially on a consistent basis, then you say no, where I'm coming from was more financially rewarding, especially on a consistent basis, than where I am now. But then potentially, right, does the fullness of it, not just in writing but in filmmaking, does the fullness of it give me that leeway? Then absolutely yes. So the answer is no, but there's a yes. Okay, do you have role models, mentors that shaped your writing experience? This is a difficult question to answer because my writing is not different from my life, right? So my mind is reconceptualizing the question to be: do I have mentors, role models that have influenced my life? And I would say yes. I won't call them mentors. I won't even call them role models. I'll just say people. I have people who I've looked up to, who I look up to, people who have exemplified things that I want and then I chase after, regardless of whatever way I am deploying myself in a season. Those people, are people that I always place in front of me. Dejo Claudius Okinyemi, he was my boss in tech. Amazing guy, very strategic. I love the way he understood the industry and the industry players, and how he took the concept of blue ocean strategy, right, coming into a saturated space and making a mark. I liked how he did that practically. There's no fun expo. Yeah, I love how I currently still work with her in the Discovery Center, where I'm the director of business. She's a CEO. And I remember the first time I read about her and I sent her a message and I'm like, you're living the life that I want, right? The life where your hustle is not seen, the results are seen. I don't like people seeing my hustle. I don't know, it's just a thing. The hustle is not seen, the results are seen, and then the results are fabulous. The results make it look like you are a trust fund baby. So when people call me a trust fund baby, I'm like, yeah, I love it. I love it. That's in my hustle. So it doesn't matter whether I do one thing, I do two things. It doesn't matter if Strain, the movie, was my first. I was not surprised when it started breaking grounds. I wasn't surprised when it started winning awards. I'm not surprised that literally almost every single thing that I've written has been recognized by my peers, right? Or that I've been a part of. It's humbling, but by having this type of person, say Dejo Claudius Okinyemi, who is who has a corporate structure behind him, and Mfonepo who understands herself, life, the laws of her being, the laws of the universe. By applying all these just two, not necessarily disparate, but these two things together into my own life, my writing, my filmmaking is influenced. How do you measure success as a screenwriter? How do you measure success as a screenwriter? I think my measure of success is if the audience feel what I wanted them to feel. That's it. If the audience feel what I wanted them to feel, it doesn't really matter if, yeah, that is my measure of success. There are other things. Oh, does the picture look the way I wanted the picture to look? Does this person deliver the line? Yes. If I write a scene where it's meant to be a joyful scene, like I did a lot with, or I did with, I'll give you a very practical example, or two examples. Masquerade of Anido. There were some scenes that were written to elicit joy, not just in the characters, but in the audience. And then after the episode airs, I will receive calls, messages from different people that I knew, people I did not know, and they would tell me of how the entire family sat down to watch. And at the end of this episode, they were excited. It's not that something from a plot point of view exciting happened, but because I wanted that type of reaction, getting that type of feedback, I'm just like, yup, success. Nothing else. It wasn't about the money I'd gotten paid. It wasn't about you're a great writer. I already know that. But that there's the audience get to feel what I want them to feel. Second example is Slum King. And this is very specific. Episode 2. Again, you can find Slum King on Showmax and plugging it in here. Don't cut this out. Episode 2, Showmax. You'll find Slum King on Showmax. Now, episode 2, the end of it, this tragedy happens, and there's this thing that there's a way it was written. And also episode 10, the finale, the end. What I wanted people to see violence, feel the effect of it, but then cry. So you watch people fight and then you are crying. I wanted that paradox, and I was really, really filled when again I got feedback that suggested that that's what happened to the vast majority of people that watched it. And I thought, this is success. So success for me is the audience feeling what I want them to feel. That's it. How does your upbringing or environment influence the kind of stories you tell? Maybe because I've not really thought about the part of upbringing. I might not be able to answer the part on upbringing. I don't want to say things I've not, spent time thinking on. But for environment, I like stories about people who are morally gray. I like stories that have arguments in there, right? I like stories where you can have conversations on. I gave an example just now about wanting to, tell a story where the audience watch a fight and then they weep. It's a paradox of emotions. Right. I enjoy that. I will attribute that to my faith. I understand good and evil inherently. I just like the shades of good, the shades of evil. And yeah, it's majorly attributed to my faith, my beliefs. Another thing that's really influenced me is, this is an upbringing part. Growing up, I read a lot of Conan Doyle, so Sherlock Holmes. I read a lot of Greek mythology. I grew up, I'm an only child, so I grew up with books, right? Not only novels, a lot of novels, but not only novels. And so it influenced the way I think. I think in a very deep, philosophical type manner. So the type of stories I tell are the ones where you can have conversations about. I think the final thing on this influencing the kind of stories that I tell, I love puzzles. Sudoku is one of my best games. I play Sudoku every single time. I love puzzles, and I like stories that come together. You get like stories that come together. They are not linear. They come together like jigsaw puzzle. This happens, saying like, oh, it's because of that happened over there. I enjoy stuff of that nature. So yeah, these are the things that how my the kinds of stories I tell have been influenced by my upbringing and my environment. What does your writing routine look like? It's weird, but I don't have a writing routine. What I have is just a process for creation. I hardly write. So I write in line with something larger, right? So I'm to head write a show. That's when I write. I don't practice writing. Right. I practice writing by reading. I practice writing by reading, by feeling myself, so that by the time I actually sit down to write, there's something you can't give what you don't have. There's something to pour out. So now, how I do it is, let me do a practical example. I'm to head write a show. The show is about a guy who comes into he gets invited to do an interview, and when he comes in, he realizes, one of the crew members is that guy that messed up my other guy that stole his babe. He doesn't know I know. So, you know what? While here, I'm going to send a message to my friend and tell him, I don't catch that guy. Sure. And so while we are here having this conversation, lovely, some boys show, they enter into the place, they lock the door, and boom, Kasala boss. Now that's the show I want to head right. What I will do first and foremost is, when I have the brief and I work on the story, I would do what I call just joining the zeitgeist. So I'm going to look for shows that have some type of themes that I'm going to put in this particular show. I look for references, and I either watch 1 or 2 episodes, I study them, right? That's the first step. Now, normally when you are in this type of thing, there is an actual breakdown of whatever process. In that process, there is writing. And when it comes to writing, I don't have a routine, but sit down and write. I will add this though, 90% of the people in this particular line of work and the industry are more off work than on work, which means they have more periods where they are not on projects than they are on projects. A good number. I keep doing percentages, so not 90%, just a good number. And that is where routine actually comes in. Because if you go get a job somewhere, they say, oh, you have 2 months to write this, you have 2 months to write it. However you want to write it, you want to write it. However, when you don't have anything and then you have 24 hours, your phone is not ringing, no one is calling you, you're not on any project, that's when you actually need a routine. That's when you need to know that from this time to this time, I want to sit down, I want to read this book. I'm going to read chapter 1, 2, 3, on lock. I'm going to watch 2 episodes of this, lock. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But sometimes we just like to copy somebody's routine and be like, okay, me too, I want to. Do what works for you. Just understand that there's just a maximum. What you do in secret will show in public, which means that you build your own private routine. By the time you get out there on that gig, we are going to know. We're going to know. How do you balance creativity with discipline and deadlines? I think this is a brilliant question. How do I balance creativity with discipline and deadlines? It's a very, very brilliant question. The answer is very simple. You do the work. I think it's a cop-out to think that you cannot be creative with deadlines or discipline. Nah, just do the work. Earlier I talked about the off project, you are a creative. In my line of work, you are a creative. You are a walking bag of creativity. At the drop of a hat, you should be able to get creative. Right? At the drop of a hat. You have different type of deadlines in our industry. Some persons will give you 4 months to produce a film, to write a film. Let me specify that. Some persons will give you 2 weeks to write that film. I hear a lot of, oh, we don't have enough time, and there's merit to that, don't get it wrong. However, once you understand the industry you are in and you understand the cards that you have to play with, the onus is on you to make sure that you are not you're on the wrong side of history. That's a wrong phrase. The onus is on you to just make the best use of it. Yes, that's more correct. The onus is on you to make sure that within whatever time that you have, you're as creative as possible. And whatever discipline it takes, make the best use of the time that you have. And just don't join the bandwagon in complaining, oh, there's not enough time. You figure it out yourself. All right. How do you balance passion with economic needs? I really can't answer this question because I feel like if I want to answer, it has to be some sort of conversation. We have to talk about, the true meaning of the word passion. Really, I talk about the industry you get to work in. You have to ask if this question is applicable to every single industry that is supposedly run by passion. In the football industry, is this question relevant there? I really don't know how to answer it. I'm passionate about filmmaking, I'm passionate about writing, and I have to write. So is it a job comes, am I passionate about the job? I really don't know how to answer it because we all need to get paid for what we get to do. So get paid for what you do. If you need to spruce up love for that thing, then spruce up love for it. It's a bit pragmatic, it's a bit aloof, but I really don't know how to answer it. You love what you do, you don't love what you do. It's totally removed from whether or not you should be paid for it. Get paid, right? Then per time, know what you're doing, know how you're balancing. Sometimes you do a thing because of money. Sometimes you do it because you want to gain relationships. Sometimes you do it because you want PR. Sometimes you do it because you want to work with some particular type of persons or whatever. But get paid. I don't really know how to answer it, so I'll jump on past this particular question. How do you feel about the rise of AI-assisted writing tools? I don't really feel any kind of way. I know that there is the shiny object syndrome that causes people to get very hyper when something new comes around. But while this is one of the biggest things that have happened to humanity that will cause a massive shift and transformation, it's also not the only thing. There will always be something that comes around that shifts. So what you just have to do is, ride the waves, understand the tools of trade, and then use these tools of trade to your advantage. If the question is on, job replacement, again, the use of tractor on farmland will replace some jobs, like, the way use of machines was like use of AI at one point when it came to farming, because jobs were being replaced. The onus was now on the man who you would use hoe to learn how to operate that, upgrade to that particular level. So if you have storytellers out there, writers out there that will not leverage on AI, and then I'm like, why? But you see, there's another conversation that's on the ethics of it, right? On the absolute reliance of it for the creation of art. That's a different conversation. That's not me answering a question and just speaking to you. That is, we sit down and we talk and we say, okay, what are the nuances? What are the different ethical issues at play here? Should you have a film where the lead role goes to an AI? That's a different ballgame. But when it comes to writing, Think of it as there are softwares you use in writing screenplays. These softwares have features that help you, that enhance your writing experience. AI is one of those features. Find a way to make use of it, enhance your writing experience, make your work look better. So yeah, I feel that you should learn how to enhance your work with them. What advice would you give an emerging writer getting into the industry? What advice would I give an emerging writer? Work hard. I know that's generic, but work hard to know your industry. You might be starting from ground zero in terms of opportunity, but don't start from ground zero in terms of knowledge. The world is so flat right now that if anybody who has the title of emerging screenwriter doesn't have some basic knowledge, it calls into question your commitment to the craft. It calls into question your commitment to the craft. So while you might start from ground zero for opportunity, do not start from ground zero from a knowledge point of view. Go out there, go online, type stuff, ask AI to give you free resources that can, get you to the next level in terms of knowledge. Read, practice, and I genuinely believe that opportunities do come. Not once, they come, they are moral, they will find you. But then the question is, when they do find you, what do you make of them? My name is Donald Tombia. I'm a filmmaker, and this has been how I make my daily 2K.